Time for the second video on this Scharnhorst build. This is where I'm currently at. All the portholes have been filled and I'm pretty sure it's going to be good. I'm going to need one more primer coat just to make sure. Stern anchors in, the sea chests are in on both sides, but I'm nowhere near done with this hull yet. And it's surprising how little you get done in as much time as I've been spending on this thing. It's ridiculous. The hydrophones still need to go in on both sides. I have some nice holes for the pedestals. Center seam's gone, but this still needs work. I need to put in whatever this thing is called and the supports back here. The rudders need to go in, and I'm led to believe that this is going to need some work as well. And when that's done, I'm going to call it quits on this hull. There's a lot more you can do, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to call it done. I'm going to start playing with the deck, which apparently also needs work. And that's not to make room for the photo edge, that's just because it doesn't fit properly. These hose pipes over here, I think I'm just going to leave them as they are. I'm not sure. I think I will. I'm not going to bother. Let's see what I've been doing. So, portholes. I checked this side against the book, and my conclusion was it's pretty decent. Or am I confusing this with the other side? No, this side was pretty decent. I need to add a few here and there, some need to be deleted here and there. It's not that bad. Except this bit, for some reason they're way too high. I'm gonna lower these a bit. And then I go to the other side, and it's a nightmare. Things are going fine here. This is pretty, well, I can live with that. Actually, this is pretty nice. I can live with that. But then you come here, and if you can tell, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 portholes here, and in my book it says 12. So that's wrong. And when I started this I can fix a bit. Then I started here and I completely lost the correlation between what I see here and what I have in my book, and I'm lost. So I thought, you know what, I'll work from this side. So move the anchor, add one, and well, things are going somewhat decent, and then I completely lose everything again because this side is a complete and utter mess. And so I have two choices. I can live with it and just keep it as it is, or I can bite the bullet and fill the shit out of everything and then re-drill every single one. And if I do that, I'm gonna have to do this side as well. Otherwise it's gonna look stupid. So, well, looks like I'll be filling and sanding a lot of portholes. To do this, I photocopied my book, then I scanned the images, and then I created a nice big 1 in 200 scale drawing of this ship hull. And then I went down with my tape measure and I measured the distance for every single one of these portholes. And I wrote down all the numbers for all 117 centimeters of it on both sides. I counted them. There is 370 portholes that need drilling. Fortunately, I only have to fill a few, not so much, because there's a few missing. Now I have to find a way to transfer this onto my hull, and then we can start drilling. Well, first I need to start filling. To fill, I've taken some plastic from the kit sprues. I've thrown it in some Tamiya extra thin, and I'm gonna make some sprue goo to fill it with the same plastic as is in the kit. And you probably won't see me again until I get started on that, and that's gonna take a while. So until next time. Welcome back. Portholes, part 2. Every single one is going to have to be filled, and to do this I made myself this stuff. I wanted to fill this with the same plastic that this hull is made of, so I clipped some bits of sprue off and I dissolved it in some Tamiya extra thin, and hopefully that will make drilling out these portholes in the next stage a bit easier. And the job is very simple. It's simply filling every single one of these portholes and then giving it a few days or a week or whatever to dry, because you want this completely and solidly dry and cured by the time you start sanding this. I'm thinking it's going to shrink back a bit, so I'm going to make sure there's a little bubble everywhere. I don't know if you can see it, but like that. And this is the tedious job of filling every single one of them. And tedious it may be, it's still going to be a lot easier than drilling them back out. And this is what I'll be doing in the next, I don't know, 2 weeks. I think this is a bit too thin for my liking, but well, I'm not going to bore you showing you everything. This is basically what I'm going to be doing. Okay, we're back. My sprue goo was a bit on the thin side, which means that stuff like this this isn't good. This one and this one, those haven't been filled properly, so I'm gonna need a second coat. And I have another problem, because I have this nice drawing here which shows me where I'm supposed to put portholes, but oops, that drawing is supposed to be like this, and over here that's not a problem, but over here you can see my problem. And then I can do this, which was suggested to me by someone, but then the portholes are not going to be in the same place anymore. So I need a way to fix that. And so what I thought at first, quite stupidly, was if I put a measuring tape down here, right down the middle, then the measurements will match up with my drawing, which is nice. And then I can use a square or something, which I don't have right now, and I can put my square here and put a mark here, and then I know where to put the porthole. But that's going to be a nightmare too. Fortunately, I think I have another solution for this, so I hope that works, and if it does, I'll show you what I've been doing. Well, here we are again. I've done a little work. As you can see, I've filled all those portholes. Now I need to go over them because some of them, like this one, still need another coat. And then I'm gonna let this stuff dry for at least a week, because I want to make sure before I get anywhere near this with a sander that it is completely dry. In the meantime, I also took care of these sinkholes here, here and there, and on the other side. I don't know if they're completely flush. I think I feel something, which usually means there's something there. And I know that's the last time I'm going to be filling with super glue, because I do not like sanding super glue. And I also took care of the mold seam that runs all the way over here and here on the other side as well. This one was a nightmare, but it's gone. And I've done not much else since. I'm still working on my computer image that is going to allow me to drill all these holes without having to measure every single one of them. I also have not yet taken care of the seam here. I'm waiting for my 2 pedestals that I'm going to sit this thing on. And once they arrive, I can make sure I drill the holes in the correct spot and get them fitted. And when that is done, I'm going to sand the seam away, because right now it helps me locate the center of the ship. Which is nice, because those pedestals need to be in the center. Next up, sea chests. I'm not sure if the image in the book has the correct size or the grills on the photo etch sheet that I have, but they're not exactly the same size. I'm gonna go with the size of the photo etch fret. It's far simpler, but I'm not sure what I should do about this bit in between. I'm gonna need to think about that for a bit. And over here we also have to drill out a lot of holes, these ones to be specific. I'm not entirely I can't remember what they are. It's in the book, something to do with torpedo detection, I think. I'll have to look that up. In the meantime, that still leaves 2 decisions to be made, because if you've been watching Nigel's video, you know that this bit, the armor, is wrong. It's too far forward or back, I don't know. I'm gonna leave that, and I'm gonna have to think about this degaussing cable. Am I gonna keep it, or am I going to replace that as well? And of course I still have to do the stern anchor. I'm kind of reluctant to get started on that, but it has to be in before I start drilling my new portholes. I'll see you again soon, hopefully. Well, we're back again. I've been away for 2 weeks. I've been on a trip and then I got sick, and I'm still sick, but okay. I filled all the portholes with my sprue glue stuff, which did the job quite well, but there were a few little portholes that weren't completely filled, and so I went over it with the Tamiya gray stuff. Filled everything a second time, both sides, and that's gotten another week to dry. I wonder if that one is going to be fine. I don't think so, but we'll see. So we're back to sanding. Yay! Like I have nothing better to do. Anyway, I'm going to sand the whole thing down again. You can see a little remainder of primer, which told me that most of this stuff was fine, not all. I've also filled these sprue nibs on the bottom, because they need to go too and they're not flat. And once we have that done, and I'm happy with portholes, we can start thinking about the first of the major surgeries, which is going to be this. This needs to move. Yeah, that's going to be fun. Then we're going to have to put in those sea chests, 2 there and 1 on this end. These bilge keels I'm going to leave. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm not going to worry about the armor belt, and I'm not going to worry, I think, about the degaussing cable, which runs here. I don't want to make this more complex than I already am. And this is my first ship. I want to keep it in somewhat decent. We're going to have to put these things on, fit them. I already know there's a problem going to be here. I'm going to have to think about what I'm going to do about that. And then the hull should be pretty much done, ready for the deck. As you can see here, I've also glued in the nut for the stand. I have 2 of those nice little pedestals that's going to go on the bottom with a huge bolt that's going to go through. The nut is glued into place. I put some styrene strip around it, glued it into place, and when that was done I put a whole load of 2 epoxy glue onto it. Both of them, so those are not going anywhere. The bolts are still going to fit. Yeah, back to sanding. To do so, I'm gonna go with this one. It's a Flory sander. It's the rough one, the white gore, like this. And I'm just gonna go all over the place and then go down in grits or go up in grits, and we'll see what happens. But I'm not gonna show you all of this because it's gonna be boring as hell. Well, one side done. It feels smooth, but I'm gonna have to put some primer on it to see. There's still a lot of dust on it, so I'm gonna need to give it a wash as well. Time to go to the other side, do the same thing all over again. Okay, let's talk stern anchor. This is the stern anchor, and if you've been watching some videos, it's too far forward and it's way too big, and right about here should be another porthole, and there's no room. So I have this update set that I got from Nigel, and it consists of 4 pieces. You have this one, which is basically going to fit right here, and then you can draw a line which shows you what to cut out. Maybe I can bring you in a little bit. You can just draw a line and then it will show you what you need to cut out, and when that's done you get this bit, which is the correct size, and just plugs in right there and you're done. And because the kit anchor fits this and not this, Nigel also gives you a new anchor. in two parts, which is tiny. Basically you get this bit, which is the main anchor, and you get this anchor shaft to go with it. Yeah, I need to get used to this camera. Anchor bit goes in, and that should fit right into this hole, which ends in the holes right here. And if this bit is in, you can see the anchor when you look into the hole in the deck. Okay, so let's try that again. There is a hole here, which you probably can't see too well. There's going to be a deck here, and when you view like this through the deck, you can actually see the anchor pop out here, which is nice, and it should be pretty easy to do. So first things first, we plug this in, and it's a tight fit. I get a nice little pencil, and all you do is you draw along the lines, along the outer edge of this plug. You remove it, and there are my cut lines. Now, technically speaking, there's another line that goes here, but I've watched Nigel's videos again, and he just cut that bit off, and quite frankly, I'm not sure if this is too big if you leave that in, but we'll see it when we get there. I'm just gonna stay inside that line, and I can always cut that off at the end if I need to for the plug. I think I'm gonna have to do that for the plug to fit. So the next step is to drill the corners and then get a nice little thin saw and start sawing it out. This is a nice hole. You can saw from here to all the holes, and then, well, that's about it. I'll see you back when this is gone.
The marking the sprue back in the
well, as you can see, I'm almost done. It looks pretty good. There's a little bit of grey stuff left here. And from this point on, it's going to be a matter of putting this in and fitting, because you don't want to go too far. A little too far probably going to happen, and the super glue is going to take care of that. But this doesn't fit, so I'm still need to take off the material. And if I look at it right, I'm going to start in this corner and there. This corner is fine,
too long.
but it's very hard to see. The plastic on this kit is way too thick to make this nice. So we'll see when we get there. Okay, well, it's in. Almost. There's a big gap right here where I took too much material off. That's my fault. But it is in, it fits. It's a little bit proud here and there, but that's how it's supposed to be. At least so I've been told. And it sits right there, and I like it. It's gonna need a little super glue to fill this hole. A lot of it, actually. And that's gonna be black, so I might as well leave the black ink. The primer's gonna have to cover that anyway. I'll see you when that's done. Well, here we are again. It's been a while since I sat down here. It's called a flu bug and something like that. I gave this a sand. A few more things needed filling, and as you know, I was working on this, and as you can see, I put down a second coat of filler. It's gonna need to come off. When that is done, it's time for these two, the sea chests, and after that I'm gonna have to start drilling out all these portholes. Now, originally my plan was to do this. So I printed the side view of the ship, and I measured every single porthole, starting at this end. No. Yeah, well, doesn't matter. The idea was to transfer these measurements to the side of the hull. But as some of you may immediately think, and something I didn't think about, is that this is a straight picture, which means it's a picture that goes from the bow to the stern in a straight line down the center of the ship. Which means if I put these measurements on the side of the hull, that's not going to work. I'll start at the bow and I'll finish 10 centimeters off the stern. Not 10 centimeters, but you get my drift. So this isn't going to work. This was plan 1. Plan 2 was an even bigger failure. And now I'm on to plan number 3, and plan number 1 has become my backup should plan number 3 not work out. And I forgot to grab the piece of paper. I'll be back in a moment. And welcome to plan number 3. As you see, I made another print of the side view of the ship, but above that I made a print of the top view of the ship. And the idea is that I'm going to transfer a line from this porthole to there, which is going to be a problem because of this tape, but we'll figure something out. And when that line is there, I'll cut out the side of the ship along this line, and I'll put it against the hull of the ship. So the hull will be here. I'll put this piece of paper against the hull. I'll probably have some flaps sticking out here which I can use to tape it to the ship. And then, with all these lines running down here, so for instance there's going to be a line here, and then I'll be able to just transfer this line to my hull, and that's where the porthole is going to be. I'm hoping that's going to work, because if that doesn't work, the only thing left is to start measuring, and that's going to take a lot of time, and I really don't want to spend all that time. I really should have put this sticky tape on the back side as well. Oh well. This is going to take some more time, so I'll be busy for a bit more. I'll see you when that's done. Well, here we are again, back at the bench, and I have put a coat of primer onto all these filled portholes. Most of them are fine, but here and there, I don't know if you can see it, but right here there's still something that needs work. Most of it, however, is fine. This is not. This needs some more work. I couldn't see it, I couldn't feel it, but with a coat of primer, yeah, not right. So more porthole filling, so no porthole drilling. So maybe I should focus my attention on these sea chests. The only problem is there are no sea chests for Scharnhorst. There are sea chests for Bismarck, which is this little set I got. I've been doing some watching videos on YouTube, how it's done, and the first I did is I scanned my PE fret, and the idea is to cut these out, lay them on the hull, then mask it off with masking tape, and then I'll have a guide where exactly to put my sea chests. The problem is I'm going to have to scrape away a tiny bit of material from the hull, because these things are going to need to be flush with the hull. The second problem is I'm not entirely sure where to put them, because the book is right, but this appears to be wrong. This is the bilge keel, and if I put them where the book says with respect to the bilge keels, they're going to be in the wrong place. These bilge keels, by the way, are wrong as well, but I'm not going to worry about that. That's not my problem. I'm going to keep them as they are because I think I've done enough with this hull so far. So the big idea is to get these sea chests fitted, which means I'm going to have to cut out my scan, and then I'm going to have to figure out where to put them. So if we put this away, make sure it doesn't fall over, and then find out right here. First thing I'm going to do is get my ruler and a knife, and I'm going to cut out these things, these copies, so that I can work with them instead of the photo etch material. So, well, I assume you know how to cut a piece of paper with a knife. So, sea chests. This is where I started, and then when I started cutting I thought maybe I can do this better. So what I'm going to do is I'm still going to cut these out, but I'm going to do so on a piece of masking tape so I can put the masking tape here. That's going to sound a lot easier. To do so I will use this. I have no idea what brand this is. It's not a Tamiya tape. I'm going to cut out around these, put them on here with a bit of tape so that they don't move, cut them out, and then I'll put them on here. I don't know what else to say. So first I'm going to cut out these roughly, because I need a bit of edge around them for my tape to keep them in place, which is going to be fun because this, maybe I should do it as one. As you can hear, I like changing my plan when I've already started. So, these are the only ones that I need. There's a lot of other grills and stuff like that on the fret. Maybe I'll use them, maybe I won't, and if not, they'll go nicely into my spares box. Hoppatee. Then I will use this, and this is going to be just to keep this stuff tacked into place while I make my cuts. This is also cheap stuff that I don't really want to use on my models, but it came with a tape holder and a tape dispenser that I'm not using, so I can use it for this. This camera angle isn't exactly the best. Let's get this out of the way. And let's move it. I can't move it. Oh well. Then I won't move it. There, that's not going anywhere. Now I can take this off, the whole thing, and I can put it down here, where you'll be able to see a little better what I'm doing. Like this. Now I need to cut out these ones one at a time. And when I do it right, I should be left with a few pieces of masking tape. Never mind the computer, it's updating. I'll make a few passes. And I'll start with this one to see if this actually works as I want it to work, because if this one doesn't work, I won't have to spend time on the rest of them. Now, this one can come out, and this should be a piece of masking tape in the exact right shape. So let's get rid of the stuff all around it. And what you see is exactly what I was hoping you would see. A piece of masking tape in the shape of my sea chest. And all I have to do now is figure out where exactly to put this thing. I'm gonna stick these to my cutting mat for now. And I have the numbers of these parts on the photo etch fret, and I'm gonna write them down because otherwise I'm going to forget. This is number 8, because a while back I figured out which part is gonna go where on my hull, and this is it. I'm gonna do the other 5 and then I'll see you again. Okay, well, these are my masks which I can put on my hull, and then I can mask it off and have fun trying to get rid of some material. And then when I had this, I was thinking, I have a problem, because while watching a video on YouTube, I come up with this. And maybe I should put it like this so you can actually see what I'm doing. Right? I hope so. Anyway, this is number 7 and this is number 8. That is these two, the bigger ones that only go on one side. Only I had planned not to put them on this way, but this way. And that means my mask is pretty much useless, because my mask will be for this way and not for this way. So I can either put them on the way my mask wants me to put them on, or I can figure out something else. And I'm not sure yet. I'm thinking I'm gonna have to put them on backwards, so I need to figure out something about these masks. I'll have a think, and when I figure it out, I'll tell you about it. Most easily, probably, this is a photocopy of this. There's no reason I can't just photocopy it like this. I can't believe I'm just thinking of this now. I just photocopy it upside down and I create 2 new masks. Yep, I'll be back. Okay, so sea chests. I just had a brilliant idea. I'll just take this, put it against the side of the hull, and mark off where the sea chest is going to be based upon this. And this is the stern side of the ship. So when I get my ship, I will put it like this. And then, oh wait, this is a stern anchor, other side. So it needs to go like this. And my drawing, oh, maybe I have the wrong drawing. So I'll grab the other drawing. And this fits. Only when I started looking at this against my book, these portholes were somewhat correct, but this was not, because the book only shows 15 portholes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3. So I have 3 portholes extra. And I'm thinking, that can't be. And I was thinking, what the hell? I double checked, I triple checked, I quadruple checked. And then I thought, oh wait a minute. When I made the drawing, I mirrored one side. And when I look at here, and I go counting portholes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So this is supposed to be here. So all these lines that I put in are nice, but they're absolutely useless because I can't put them in like this. I need to put them in like this. And so, as you can see, I wrote this side up so I won't forget, and I transferred all the markings that I have here to the other side. And now it fits, and it fits like it should. And now maybe I can start marking off these stupid sea chests. The joys of building models. I'll be back. So, using my template and the book, I've counted down portholes, and I've marked off on my template, as you can see here, where the sea chest starts and ends. That's the absolute tip of it. And I transferred these markings to my hull. And it ends on this side of the beginning of the build skill, or the ending, which matches the book. So now I should be able to put my masking on here so I can see where they are supposed to be. So that will be my next job, which means I'm going to have to figure out which of these templates is supposed to go there. And I have that written down somewhere, and I wish I had picked it up first, which is not this piece of paper. I have way too much pieces of paper lying around. I'll be back when I find it. So, these are my masks. You'll notice there's a bit of room between the build skill and the mask, because when I look in the book there's also a bit of room between the sea chest and the build skill. So I'm gonna make sure it's up a bit. I just brought them in both a bit, and this is just done by eye, and it doesn't have to be exact, which is always a good thing. Now I've put on another bit of masking tape, and this is going to go here. It's going to butt up against the mask for the sea chest. And then when I put this on all four sides and I remove the mask from the sea chest, I'll know exactly which bit to carve out. I can mark it with my pencil then, and then I can start chiseling away at it. There's probably simpler ways to do this. There's most likely simpler ways to do this, but I don't know them, and I don't plan on using them, because this is what I came up with, and this is what I'm going to do. And whether it works or not is something that the future will tell us. So I'm going to be masking away like this. That's in place. And that's also the reason it's no big deal that this mask isn't perfect. It's been crumpled up a bit, but that doesn't matter because it's only temporary anyway. The only problem is I don't have a piece small enough to fit. Well, maybe I do. I can always cut something in half. So now I'll have to cut this piece in half, make it fit. It's still too wide. I'll cut it again, and we'll keep cutting it down until it does fit. This one goes right, well, somewhere along there. Well, you get the idea. Oop. Another bit goes. There. We'll do that one last time. Okay, so this is masked off. Now I can remove this, which I am going to keep just in case. I'm going to remove this, which I will also not throw away again. And then I'll just get a pencil and I'll mark this. And this is all going to have to go. And which leads me to my next problem. And that's, what exactly am I supposed to do here? Because I watched Jason's video and he made it very clear that the photo etch grills are supposed to be flush with the hull. And then in between there's a bit of plastic he put in, which is raised. Now, that is exactly what I was hoping this was not going to be. What I was hoping is that these two areas are going to be completely cut out, and this bit is flush with the hull, because it is the hull. And on the one hand, I'm thinking, Jason knows what he's doing. It's not the first ship he's built, so he probably knows exactly what he's talking about. But when I look at my book, and I realize these are only drawings, so who knows how accurate these are. But when I look at the book, if I can find the drawings, if you look at the drawing right here, and I'm not sure if you can see it, maybe I'll put in a photograph, these sea chests are very, very obviously recessed. And in this drawing right here, it's both. It's recessed, and in the center you can see a line there, which means it's raised. This also looks very much recessed to me, so I'm confused. I'm going to have to do some thinking about what I want to do. I think maybe I'll go with what this says, which means it's recessed. And that's going to make my life easier, because then I can just cut some holes in the hull, fit my photo etch, and put a piece of plastic in the back so it fits. And that's going to make my life a whole lot easier. I'm going to think about this and then I'll be back. Well, this is going to be the last bit for this video. I've been working some more on my sea chests, and if you can see, that's how it looks now. So the edges are marked off, and I have also done the other side, like this. There's a few here and two there. The edges are all marked off, and what I need to do now is get out my chisel and do a bit of surgery, because I need to remove a tiny little bit, because I've seen photos, and some photos they look recessed, some photos they don't. I'm going with they don't, which means I'm going to have to remove a bit of material, the thickness of the photo edge, which is going to be interesting to do. That's probably going to take me a few days to get right, and we'll see you when that's done. Bye for now. Well, as you can see, the sea chests are done. My main tool was this simple chisel. I just worked my way around the shape of these sea chest grills. Then I put them in with some super glue, and I added a thin piece of styrene to represent this bit that's supposed to be a little higher. Not sure what it's for, but it's there. I don't think they're 100% exactly in the right position or the right size or whatever, but it's good enough for me. It's my first ship, so the other side is done as well. So with those out of the way, it's the first bit that's been completed. Well, actually the second bit, because the anchor's in place. This is done, and I'm gonna have to focus on these portholes now. I've been saying the word portholes way too often in this video. I can still feel something when I'm going over it like this with my finger, so I'm not entirely sure this is done yet. I'm gonna give it another coat of primer. I'll prime these sea chests as well to see how they look, but that's gonna have to wait until the next video, because I think this video is far too long already.